Hi dear students, after a few days we are back with our online video classes. Hope that all of you are keeping fine. And I am very happy that almost all of you have attended the online test and many of you done their online test without using their textbook. And those who have attended their online test without using the textbook, I think it will be very useful for them. And even those who use the textbook also, it will be useful for them because at least they got a chance to open their textbook. Because I know many of you are not opening the textbook or studying anything, but at least in the sake of online test, at least you open, some of you open the textbook. So it's good for you, I hope. And now we will start our revisions from first chapter onwards. And before that, I just want to tell you something about your last exams. And I think many of you are still not knowing how to write your history papers, the answers. Because in long paragraph you are giving the answer. And I hope that earlier classes the teachers already mentioned about how to write the history paper. It is in points. You have to write the answer in points. Then only you are going to get the marks. And last unit test I noticed that many of you have written the answers in long paragraph. Actually it is not required. You write the answers in points and make sure that you underline the important point. And the second point is that many of you are confused about the points given in the textbook, especially about the Second World War and the First World War, the alliances. Many of you have wrote the alliances of the First World War. Then you are not going to get the mark. If the question is about the Second World War and the alliance, then if you are writing the alliance of the First World War, you are not going to get the mark. Many of you have confused and made a silly mistake. That is a silly mistake. But you are going to lose the mark. So you must be careful on such kind of matters. And the composition, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, you can make a chart. One side, the number of members in Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, the term and how many are nominated. In that way you can make the comparison. It was a comparative study. Last time the exam, the question was about the compare both the difference between Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha regarding composition. Then the numbers also you have to mention. If you are just writing the election of Rajya Sabha members and Lok Sabha members, you are not going to get a single mark. If it is composition, then you have to write the composition of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So you must read the question properly. I think many of you lost the mark only because they didn't understand the question. And if you are not understanding the question, then no one will be able to help you. And if you are studying the entire textbook and not knowing the question, what was the question, if you are not able to understand the question, then there is no use at all. So make sure that when you attend the exams, read the question and understand the question, then only write the answers. So we will start our revision. Now you may please take section A, chapter 1, the Union Legislature. So here, first of all, you should understand that you are supposed to learn only the syllabus that is given, and you need not to study the entire topics that is given there in the textbook, only the syllabus. That topics only you are supposed to study. And the Union Legislature, you know the meaning. It is a law-making body of the political unit. And India, it is a democratic country, and in democratic setup, the Union Legislature is also known as Parliament. And the definition of Parliament, you know, it is the law-making body. And it has got the power to make and change the law, and it consists of President, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. And the next important point that you have to learn is about the federation. India has got a federal structure. What is the meaning of federal structure? Because here the executive, financial and legislative powers are divided or shared among union and state governments. That is the meaning of federal setup. In a federal setup, the administrative powers are divided between central and state governments, and in India also the same system is prevailing. There is a government for the entire country, that is the union government, and there is a government for the state, that is known as the state government. And you can go through some of the features of the federal structure or the federal features of the constitution, and that note I will attach with this video. And now we will see the important points, that is about the Lok Sabha. The parliament, it consists of President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the first one we are going to discuss about the Lok Sabha. And you know, the Lok Sabha is the house of people, and the members are elected to Lok Sabha directly by people. The Lok Sabha is called the house of the people, is the popular house of the parliament. Its members directly elected by the people of India, Lok Sabha. And the term it is for 5 years, but it can be dissolved or dismissed before its term by the president if there is any issues, and it can extend 1 year if there is any emergency. So all these 3 points must be there when the question related to term is asked. Then the composition, total how many members are there? 552 members are there, and among these 2 members are nominated directly by the President. The Anglo-Indian community, from Anglo-Indian community 2 can be nominated.
530
members from the states, and the
20
members not more than
20
members from the union territories. So that is the composition of Lok Sabha. Then the qualification for the membership. The first and foremost, he must be a citizen of India, and he must be completed 25 years of age, and his name must be there in the voters list. The next point, according to your syllabus, the next important point, it is the procedures of the parliament. There the first point is about the sessions. There are 3 different sessions. The first one, the budget session, then the autumn session, then the winter session. And the president calls all the sessions, and at least 2 sessions should be there in a year. Topic related to summoning in the session, there also you have to go through quorum of the session. The minimum number of members present for the sessions, that is the quorum. And the question hour. The question hour is the first hour in which the members can ask the questions, and there are 3 different types of questions. Then there are 2 types of motions, adjournment motion and non-confidence motion. According to the revised syllabus, there are other types of motions, but according to your new syllabus only, you are supposed to learn only 2 motions, adjournment motion and non-confidence motion. And here you have to study the definition of motion. The term motion means any proposal made for a purpose of bringing out decisions of the house. It brings out decisions of the house. And adjournment motion and non-confidence motion you have to go through. Regarding the Speaker of India, you should study only election of the Speaker, and he is the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha. So such kind of points you should not. Speaker, his role, he is the presiding officer of Lok Sabha, and his election, the Speaker of Lok Sabha is elected from the members by simple majority of its members in the house. And the second one, the usually a member belonging to the ruling party, he will be elected as the Speaker of Lok Sabha. The Speaker is elected for a term of 5 years. So you have to note that he is elected with a simple majority from its members of Lok Sabha. Then he is elected for 5 years, and normally a member from the ruling party is elected as the Speaker of Lok Sabha. Now we will see about Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is the Council of States, and it is the upper house. And the speciality of Rajya Sabha, it is a permanent house. That is the difference between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is a permanent house, and it cannot be dissolved. And in Rajya Sabha, 1/3 of its members are retired at the end of second year. And the term of the Rajya Sabha members, it is for 6 years, and after that they have to resign from the post. Then composition, total how many members are there in Rajya Sabha? Total 250 members are there, and 12 are elected by the president, and 238 are selected from the states. 12 are elected according to their capabilities, their achievements in certain fields. So the president appoint 12 as Rajya Sabha members. The election of Rajya Sabha members, normally the members of Rajya Sabha members are elected by an electoral college from each state or union territory, And the qualification, the person must be at least 30 years of age and he must be a citizen of India, and the name of the person should be there in the voters list. The presiding officer of Rajya Sabha, it is the Vice President of India. And now we will see the power and functions of Union Parliament. You have to study only one power of Union Parliament, that is control over the executive. There are 5 points under control over the executive. They are interpellation, adjournment motion, vote of non-confidence, monetary control, censor motion, and these 5 points you have to study, and through this the Union Parliament control the executive body. And there are some exclusive powers which are shared between Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, and that is not exactly given there in your textbook, but I will attach a PDF into this video and you can just go through. And if you are having any doubts regarding the things that we discussed in this class, you can just contact me and you can ask your doubts. In this chapter, you have to mainly study about the legislature and the meaning of legislature, the parliament, the components of parliament, federal setup in India. The power is divided between state and union government. Then coming to Lok Sabha, the term, composition, qualification, different type of procedures, the procedures of parliament, sessions, question hour, the motion, all you have to go through. Then the election of the speaker, only the election of the speaker, and he is the presiding officer of Lok Sabha. Then Rajya Sabha, the members, the term or the composition, the qualification for the election and the election, and then the presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha. All these points you have to study. Hope that you understood the class, and in the next class we will discuss the next chapter 2, section 8, chapter 2, and I will attach one PDF in your class notes. You can just go through, and there is a revision note, so you can prepare your note, the class note accordingly. Thank you. Have a nice day.